Did you know that captured commanders go to your nearest VP? And that you can free them via a spy mission? Today we'll go over everything you need to know and not know about Army HQs. Let's first go over creating the Army HQ. The Army HQ designer is a simplified version of the normal division designer, but there are a couple of decisions you can make. You can at most turn this into an 8-width division. Right now we can add infantry, armor, motorized, cat division, and you can only add one type of battalion, so you cannot mix armor and infantry or armor and mobile. You can only add, for example, infantry. The upside of the Army HQ battalions is that they are elite battalions. They only need 600 manpower and 60 infantry equipment for the same stats. And they have different HQ support, but, you know, you lose out on the other support battalions that you might be able to add, like support AAA, flame tanks. And because it only has 8 width, as well as it has your commander in it, this division shouldn't really see combat. This means you usually won't turn these into tanks for 2 reasons. Number 1, this division should not or very rarely should see combat. And number B, tanks have very low org and very low HP on their own, because you can't add trucks to them. So I usually wouldn't assign tanks, especially because they also just take up fuel and supply. Right now I just run infantry. Another option is mobile battalions. You know, if you need your commander to be faster, then of course the trucks are very good. With my current strategy, there is actually an argument to be made to turn them into 2 widths, because now they are very cheap. You would only need 600 manpower and 60 infantry equipment. Admittedly, adding 4 infantry is also fine. Like, you can afford the additional 100 IC. One more thing, every battalion that you add costs command power as well as any support company that you add. Because of that, I assume 2 width is gonna be the meta, at least for single player. And then if you're going by this, then the stats do not matter at all, because we're just trying to make this as cheap as possible. And then a lot of these support companies are just useless, because while, for example, you might want to pick up the hospital group staff because it gives you trickleback and XP loss, this only applies to this HQ division. The only way that this benefits other divisions is from the commander bonuses, for example, the 10% division XP gain. And you know what? While I'm here, we might as well. I gotta share some more bad opinions. And we're gonna start with the love child of everybody. Maintenance. They are kinda mid. Same as the normal maintenance companies. Because while you do get 10% division attrition, you then get 2% equipment capture ratio modifier. It's not equipment capture ratio, it is equipment capture ratio modifier. We have 22% right now, and now we're down to 21%. But you do have to keep in mind this is with Germany's modifiers. And that is at max tech with it. It's okay, same as normal maintenance companies. Like, it just makes your maintenance companies, or if you have stuff like the German equipment capture ratio gain, that makes it a little bit better. But apart from that, it's just actually, I guess it's speed here, because it can be situationally useful. Not in a you will ever use this, but, you know, for disaster saves, I guess I will see myself using it once or twice for a couple of disaster saves. Military police gives you division speed. I guess that's okay. You can use it for overrunning, but speed is not really a stat that you prioritize that much. It's more important to have the stats to break through, and then the speed doesn't really matter if you can actually crush the enemy. But, you know, it can be neat. It's fine. The big issue is you only have 4 slots, so it's fine. Doesn't really cut it. Next is the Naval Liaison, and, well, I don't want to be mean and put it into F tier because, well, it does give you bonuses, but I'd rather have 5% more speed than invasion speed, marine supply grace. I guess shore bombardment, but okay. At most, you will use this for 1 naval invasion and then replace it. It's technically situational. It's just not enough situational that I care about it. The recon staff, on the other hand, you get 20% terrain trait XP gain, which means you can get to adaptable quicker. And, you know, if you have jungles, mountains, terrain that is relatively ass to fight through, you can get the bonuses for, well, the hard terrain quicker. It also gives you a very strong ability. Defense in depth gives you free max entrenchment for the cost of 50% max planning. You might be wondering, okay, for how long? 2 days? 5 days? No! Until you turn it off! And I mean until you turn it off. Because this guy does not have recon anymore. But you can see his divisions still have defense and depth. And it also doesn't cost you command power. It only costs you the command power to use it. And it's also reduced by our planning skill. This just means that if you really don't want to get terrain traits because you want to grind other traits right now, and you know you're gonna be defending for a while, you can just enable recon staff, assign it, click on the button to get defense and depth, and then remove it again. The only downside is that, of course, you lose 50% planning, which, if you ever need to attack, if they ever take one tile, well, you might as well just not have any planning anymore anyway. But in that case, you can also just disable it. For single player, that's fine. And I assume this will also be fixed, because that's just... I don't think that should work. Especially considering the fact that this applies to new divisions as well. Signals are kind of fine. They give you 3% more max planning and the enemy operative capture chance. Which you probably don't care about, but it also gives you rotating reserves, a 6% more reinforce rate with the click of a button for relatively cheap, plus you get 3% more max planning. For me personally, I don't think I would use this in single player most of the time. Sometimes if you need to defend and you don't want to be reinforce memed. A special operations coordination, I guess it's fine. It gives you 5% more special forces. Sorry guys. It gives you 5% more special forces attack, so I guess that's cool. Next we have the engineers, which give you invasion defense. That's useless. 4 damage from combat. Okay. And prepare fallback positions, which gives you entrenchment speed. I think I'd actually rather have the 5% speed. And the forward airborne controller is also very situational. The airborne invasion preparation time, who cares? This modifier is just there so that the 2 interns at Paradox can feel like they're contributing to the game. Similarly, like if you have no air, you get more damage reduction against chaos. That's pretty good. You get air superiority if you have air, so it's fine. The hospital group staff. That one, straight to S tier you go. Genuinely might be one of the strongest ones in there. Tied with logistics, but I'd still put hospital group higher on average. Logistics is of course better if you need the additional supply consumption. And we're also going to talk about headquarters, but the hospital group is just straight up. Like you get division XP gain, which means there is a higher chance for your divisions to be regulars or, you know, veterans, which gives you 25% modifiers in combat for each level. Less chance for them to be trained. You also have less chance to get sick or wounded for your commander, which means they can use their abilities. And you also get 4% casualty trickle back if you use the stockpile medical supplies decision. I guess it's neat. If you really need it, it's nice, but realistically it's a lot of clicking. But, you know, if you need the additional trickle back, sure. It's good. And then we get to the HQ stuff, and straight up, I mean, that's S tier. You get 20% more leader skill bonuses. I just checked and I don't think this works. Yeah, I just talked to the devs again. This is a bug. If it's fixed, the 20% skill bonus that you get on attack, defense, logistics, and planning means that this is already better than the signal companies for the planning bonus that you get. Plus, you get different other modifiers on top of it. It's just right now it doesn't work. My 4th pick, or I guess my 2nd or 3rd pick, depending on how you want to take a look at it, is logistics, because you get 5% more supply consumption. You get 2 more armies under your general, that's kinda neat. And you also have exploit breakthroughs as an ability for less plan decay and, you know, also less movement speed loss. And this one is also permanent, but you do take more strength damage, so you shouldn't really just keep it on whenever you can. And there you have it. That is the only definitive and proper way to rank the, what are they called? Command support companies? Special projects? HQ supports. Now, how do Army HQs actually work? I've already mentioned that the commander bonuses only apply to your divisions. The position of your commander also matters. These 12 that are assigned under Rundstedt and on the Netherlands front, they all have a max planning of 50%. And if we compare these are also under Rundstedt, but Rundstedt is not on the front. Their max planning is minus 20% because the Army HQ is not on an order. You know, same thing with for example, Kluge. Also minus 20% because the Army HQ is not deployed. And for this we have the Army HQ proximity options. Technically you can position your general wherever you want them. If they are 4 tiles away, they are effectively not on this order. The relative position to your divisions does not matter. It only matters the nearest position to the front line. Here we are directly on the front line, which means we give no malices, and then if we move 1 tile away, we get minus 5% planning, and a couple of other things like planning speed, and the commander abilities also lose their efficiency. What I've so far done is put it on close, that way they're safe. If you want to be a little bit safer, you can also go for medium, but for the most part I've used close, and I've also used free control just to ensure that, for example, if down here is dangerous with this one Netherlandese division, I can just send him up here, and then he would even be on the front line, and these divisions would get the full bonus without him being in danger. Put them on the front line where it's safe, or just keep them 1 or 2 tiles back to ensure that they are, well, safe. And that also means that the Army HQ proximity does not matter. Whether you pick 0 or 3, it will have the same effect. It only matters where your general is right now. So if I put in 3, but he is on the front line, you can still see we get the full bonuses. Capturing commanders can be done by beating them in battle. That means you can encircle them, you can overrun them, and you can lower their strength or org to 0 without them retreating. That's also a reason why you could keep your generals on the front line, because if Grunstadt is attacked, we can still just retreat him out of the battle. And very important, as you can see, I unassigned him from the front line. Even though he is on the front line, these divisions do not have a general order, but if I then assign him to the front line, you can see all of the order of battle arrows. The general can only supply 1 order. The way that capturing commanders works right now, once they're captured, they're sent to the nearest VP of the nation that captured them. This does mean that, for example, if Canada takes your general in Iraq, they will be immediately teleported over to, I guess, Quebec. That should be the nearest VP. That does mean if a division is encircled and we capture, for example, Rundstedt, we can see that we teleported him to Utrecht. I do not know how these encircled divisions managed to do this. We'll see how much of this changes, because right now it doesn't make sense that an encircled division can just teleport generals. And I've also asked them to add a couple of mechanics with what you can do with captured generals. They have responded positively. I can't say anything right now. When it comes to freeing commanders, there are a couple of ways we can free them. You can start a raid to potentially free them. You can just take the tile that they are in. You can end the war. Then they will be released. And then we can also just send a transport plane and a spy in to potentially free all of our commanders from one location. So that's kind of cool. I really like that they, for once, remembered that spy agencies exist. After subscribing, you should watch this video in order to learn everything you need to know about factions in HoI4.